You've never done anything for us? My son Eric said it across the dinner table. His wife Lauren nodded, like they'd rehearsed it. I set down my fork, stood up, walked out of that house without saying a word. What they didn't know was I'd already made 3 phone calls that morning. By the next day, they'd understand exactly what I'd done for them. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. I'm 72 years old. My name is Harold Mitchell. I raised 2 sons after their mother died when they were 8 and 10. Eric was the younger one. That dinner was supposed to be a celebration. Eric had just gotten promoted to regional manager. 3rd promotion in 5 years. I'd driven 40 minutes to be there. Brought a bottle of wine. The good kind, not the stuff I'd drink. Lauren made pot roast. We sat down. Eric talked about the promotion for maybe 10 minutes. Then he started talking about the house. We're looking at a bigger place, he said. 4 bedrooms. Lauren's pregnant. I smiled. Congratulations. That's wonderful news. Yeah. Eric cut his meat. We'll need help with the down payment, though. Market's tough right now. I took a sip of water. Didn't say anything. Dad, Eric looked at me. We're going to need about $40,000. $40,000 for the down payment. Yeah. I set down my glass. That's a lot of money, Eric. You've got it. Not a question. A statement. You're sitting on that house. 3 bedrooms you don't use. You could downsize. Help us out. The house he meant was the one his mother and I bought in 1978. The one where I'd raised him. Where she died in our bedroom, holding my hand. I'm not selling the house, I said. Lauren laughed. Short, sharp. Of course not. Why would you help your own son? I looked at her, then at Eric. He wasn't disagreeing with her. We're not asking you to give us the money, Eric said. Just help us out. Like parents do. Like parents do. Yeah. He went back to eating. I mean, you've never really done anything for us. Not like other dads. The words hung there. You've never done anything for us. I felt something cold spread through my chest. What did you say? Eric shrugged. I'm just saying. Tom's dad bought him a car when he graduated. Paid for his wedding. You didn't do any of that. I paid for your college, I said. My voice came out quiet. Level. Community college. Lauren again. For 2 years. Then he had to get loans for state. Because that's what I could afford. Right. Eric pushed his plate away. That's always the excuse. That's what I could afford. Meanwhile, you're sitting in a 3-bedroom house worth $500,000. I looked at my son. Really looked at him. When did this happen? When did he become someone who talked like this? I worked 2 jobs to put you through school, I said. Day shift at the plant. Night shift security on weekends. And we're grateful for that, Lauren said. She didn't sound grateful. But that was the bare minimum, Harold. That's what parents are supposed to do. The bare minimum. I thought about the years after Margaret died, coming home from the plant at 3:00 p.m., making dinner, helping with homework, then leaving at 11:00 p.m. for security rounds, getting back at 7:00 a.m. in time to make breakfast, sleeping 4 hours a day for 6 years, the bare minimum. We're just asking for help, Eric said, like family helps family. Unless you don't consider us family anymore. Don't be dramatic, I said. I'm not being dramatic, I'm being honest. He stood up. You know what? Forget it. We'll figure it out ourselves, like we always do. Eric. No, I get it. You've got yours. We're on our own. He looked at Lauren. Come on. She stood up, picked up the plates. Mine still had food on it. You should go, Harold, she said. We have a lot to do tonight. I sat there for maybe 10 seconds. Then I stood up, put my napkin on the table, walked to the door. Eric didn't follow me, didn't say goodbye. I drove home in silence. 40 minutes, radio off. Just the sound of the highway and my own breathing. Got home around 9. House was dark, cold. I turned on the lights, made coffee even though it was late. Sat at the kitchen table. The same table where I'd helped Eric with his algebra homework, where we'd celebrated his high school graduation with a chocolate cake from the bakery, because that's what I could afford, the bare minimum. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, started scrolling. $28,000 transferred to Eric on June 15th, 2019. Down payment for his first house. He'd called it a loan, said he'd pay me back within 2 years. That was 4 years ago. Never saw a dollar of it. $15,000 on March 3rd, 2020. Investment opportunity, he'd said. Some friend's startup. Company folded in 8 months. $3,200 on December 18th, 2020. Car repair. Lauren's Audi needed a new transmission. $2,100 on April 7th, 2021. Emergency. Didn't specify what kind. Just needed it by end of day. I scrolled back further. The transfers went on and on. $850 monthly from January 2022 to August 2023. Just until we get back on our feet. 20 months. $17,000 total. Never paid back. $5,000 on May 12, 2023. Medical bills. Lauren's surgery. $12,200 on September 30th, 2023. Can you help with the property tax? We're short this month. I added it up on the calculator app. Had to do it twice because I didn't believe the number the first time. $94,350 in 4 years. Not counting the smaller stuff. The $200 here, $300 there. Birthday money for Lauren. Christmas gifts. The groceries I'd buy when I visited because their fridge was always empty, not counting the time. The weekends I'd driven over to help Eric install the deck, build the fence, paint the living room. Every time he called, I went. Not counting the wedding, I'd paid for that too. $12,000 for the venue, the food, the photographer. Eric had wanted his mother there. She'd been gone 3 years by then. I paid for it anyway because that's what parents do. $106,350 total. Give or take, the bare minimum. I sat there with my coffee getting cold, staring at my phone, at the numbers glowing in the dark. You've never done anything for us. My jaw tightened. I could feel it building in my chest. Not sadness, something hotter than that. I opened my contacts, found Eric's number, stared at it. Then I scrolled past it, found a different name. Marcus Webb, attorney. We'd served in the National Guard together back in the 70s. Stayed friends after. Good man. Honest. I looked at the clock. 9:47 p.m. Late. But Marcus had told me to call any time. I called. He picked up on the third ring. "Harold, you all right?" "I need to update my will," I said. "Can you do it tomorrow?" Silence. Then, "Sure. Yeah. Come by the office around 10. I'll be there." "Everything okay?" "It will be," I said. "See you tomorrow." I hung up, made another call. Dorothy Singh, real estate agent. Sold me the house in '78. Still in business somehow. Sharp as ever. Voicemail. I left a message. "Dorothy, it's Harold Mitchell. I need a market evaluation on my house. Full appraisal. Call me back." Third call. This one I'd been putting off for 2 years. My older son, Thomas. He lived in Oregon. We talked maybe once a month. He'd moved out there for work and never came back. Couldn't blame him. Phone rang 4 times. I almost hung up. Then he answered. "Dad? Tommy." I only called him that when it was serious. "You got a minute?" "Yeah. Of course. What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. I wanted to ask you something." "Okay." "When you were growing up," I said, "after your mom died, did I do right by you boys?" Long pause. "Where's this coming from?" "Just answer the question." Another pause. Longer this time. "Dad, you worked yourself half to death for us. You were at every game, every parent-teacher conference. You taught me how to change a tire, how to balance a checkbook, how to treat people. Yeah, you did right by us." I felt something loosen in my chest. Just a little. "Why are you asking?" Thomas said. "I had dinner with your brother tonight." "Ah, just that." Like it explained everything. "What did he want? $40,000 for a house?" Thomas laughed. Not a happy sound. "Let me guess. He said you never did anything for him?" "How'd you know?" "Because he said the same thing to me last year when I wouldn't loan him money for Lauren's car. It's his line. Makes him feel better about asking." "He actually said that to you?" "Word for word." "You've never done anything for us?" "Not like a real brother would." Thomas sighed. "I told him to go to hell. We haven't talked since." I closed my eyes. Jesus. "Dad, listen to me. Eric's got this thing. This idea that the world owes him something. That success means having what other people have, not earning it yourself. I don't know where he got it, but it's not your fault. I raised him. You raised both of us. I turned out fine." He paused. "Look, I don't like saying this about my own brother, but Eric's been this way for years, always looking for the shortcut, always thinking someone else should pay for his life. He's got a family now," I said. "A baby coming." "I know. And I feel bad for that kid. But that doesn't make it your responsibility to fund Eric's life. You've already given him more than most parents could." We talked for another 20 minutes. Thomas told me about his job, his wife, his 2 daughters, my granddaughters. I'd seen them twice in 3 years. Flights were expensive, and I didn't like to ask Thomas for help. When I hung up, it was after 11. I should have gone to bed. Instead, I sat there at the kitchen table. The house quiet around me. Too quiet. I thought about what Eric had said, what Lauren had said, the way they'd looked at me. Like I was an obstacle, a resource that wasn't cooperating, not family, a bank, and banks could be closed. I didn't sleep much that night. kept running the numbers in my head, kept hearing Eric's voice. "You've never done anything for us." At 6 a.m. I got up, made coffee, real coffee, not the instant stuff, sat on the back porch and watched the sun come up over the yard where I'd taught Eric to ride a bike, where we'd played catch until it got too dark to see the ball, where I'd buried Margaret's dog after it died, and Eric had cried for 2 days. My phone rang at 8:30. Dorothy. "Harold, I got your message. What's going on?" "I need to know what the house is worth," I said. "Current market value." "You thinking of selling?" "Maybe. I need the number first." "I can come by today, around 2. "That works." She paused. "Harold, you've been in that house 46 years. You sure about this?" "I'm not sure about anything," I said. "That's why I need the number." She came by at 2 like she said, walked through every room, took notes, measured things, took pictures. "You've kept it up nice," she said. "New roof? 5 years ago. Kitchen updated? 10 years ago. Did it myself, mostly." She nodded, made more notes, stood in the living room looking around. "This is a good house, Harold. Solid bones, good neighborhood, schools are excellent." "I know. I picked it for the schools." She smiled. Sad kind of smile. "You want my professional opinion or my honest opinion?" "Both." "Professionally, I'd list this at $520,000. In this market, you'd probably get $510,000, maybe $515,000. House this size, this condition, this location. It'll sell fast." "And honestly?" "Honestly, I think you'd regret it the rest of your life." She put her notepad in her purse. "But that's not my business. You want me to draw up a listing?" "Not yet," I said. "I just needed to know." She left around 3. I made more coffee, sat back down at the kitchen table. $515,000, minus what I still owed on the mortgage. I'd refinanced 8 years ago to help pay for Eric's wedding and Thomas's medical bills when his daughter was born premature. Still had $87,000 left on it. $428,000 in my pocket if I sold. I could buy a condo. Something small, 1 bedroom, put the rest in the bank, and live comfortably for the rest of my life. Not worried about repairs or yard work or property taxes. I could give Eric his $40,000 and still have plenty left over. I sat there staring at the numbers I'd written on a napkin. Then I crumpled it up and threw it away. At 10 the next morning, I was at Marcus Webb's office. He had coffee waiting. Good coffee. We sat in his conference room with the door closed. "You want to change the will," he said. "What are we changing?" "Eric's not in it anymore." Marcus set down his pen. "Harold, that's a big step." "You sure?" "I'm sure." "Can I ask what happened?" I told him. The whole story. The dinner, the things Eric said, the numbers in my bank account. Marcus listened without interrupting. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. "How much are we talking about?" he said. "Total estate value." "The house is worth about $515,000. I owe $87,000. So $428,000 in equity. Plus I've got about $45,000 in savings. Another $70,000 in my 401k. Life insurance is $100,000. Marcus did the math in his head. $643,000 roughly. Split 2 ways, that's $321,500 per son. was going to be split 2 ways, I said. Now it's all going to Thomas. All of it? Every dollar. Marcus picked up his pen again. Okay, we can do that. But Harold, I have to tell you, Eric can contest this. If he thinks he's being unfairly disinherited, he can take it to court. Let him. I've got bank records showing every transfer, every loan he never paid back, every time he called asking for money. I've got text messages, voicemails. I've documented everything. You documented it? I didn't mean to. I just kept the records. Thought maybe someday he'd want to pay me back. Wanted to make sure I had the amounts right. Marcus smiled. Harold, you're making my job very easy. With that documentation, any judge will see you had cause, especially if you frame it as a pattern of financial abuse. Financial abuse. I'd never thought of it that way. But sitting there in Marcus's office, hearing the words out loud, something clicked. That's what it was. Eric treating me like an ATM. Never asking how I was doing, just what I could give him. Never visiting unless he needed something. Draw up the papers, I said. I want this done today. Today? Right now. I'll wait. Marcus looked at me for a long moment. Then he nodded. Give me 2 hours. I went to the diner across the street, ordered lunch, didn't eat much of it, just pushed the food around my plate and drank coffee. My phone buzzed. Text from Eric. Dad, about last night. Maybe we overreacted. Call me when you can. I stared at the message. No apology, just maybe we overreacted. And the real tell, call me when you can. Not, I need to apologize, not, I was wrong. Call me. So he could ask again. Different approach this time, softer, but the goal was the same. I deleted the message. Another text came through. Lauren, this time. I didn't know she had my number. Harold, Eric feels terrible about what happened. We were both stressed about the pregnancy and the house situation. Can we talk? The house situation. Like it was some kind of emergency that required my intervention. I turned off my phone. 2 hours later, I was back in Marcus's office. He had the papers ready. 5 copies. This is the new will, he said. Everything to Thomas. Eric's not mentioned at all. I've also drawn up a document explaining your reasoning. Not required, but it helps if this goes to court. Shows your intent was clear and rational. He walked me through every page, every clause. What happened to the house, the money, the insurance, all of it to Thomas. I signed all 5 copies. Marcus witnessed. So did his secretary. Done, Marcus said. Officially witnessed and notarized. I'll file 1 copy with the county. Keep 1 here, and you should give 1 to Thomas. Keep 1 for yourself and 1 in a safe deposit box. What do I tell Eric? Nothing. You don't have to tell him anything until you die, at which point, frankly, it won't matter what he thinks. I stood up, shook Marcus's hand. Thank you. Harold. He walked me to the door. For what it's worth, I think you're doing the right thing. Family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up. I drove home, put the will copies in my fire safe, sat down at the kitchen table. It was done. Everything I'd built, everything Margaret and I had worked for, would go to Thomas. Eric would get nothing. Part of me felt relieved, like I'd put down something heavy I'd been carrying too long. Part of me felt sick. I turned my phone back on. 17 missed calls, 12 from Eric, 5 from Lauren, 8 text messages. I didn't read them, didn't listen to the voicemails. Instead, I called Thomas. "Hey, Dad. You okay?" "I'm fine. Listen, I did something today, something big. I need you to know about it." I told him everything. The will, the change, what it meant. Thomas was quiet for a long time. Then, "Dad, are you sure? I mean, I appreciate it, but he's your son. So are you." "Yeah, but—" "Tommy, listen to me. This isn't about punishing Eric. This is about rewarding you. You're the one who calls, who visits, who asks how I'm doing, not what I can do for you. This is about recognizing that. I don't need the money, Dad. Sarah and I are doing fine." "I know you are, but that's not the point. The point is you deserve it. Eric doesn't. Not after how he's treated me. Not after last night." Another long pause. "Okay, if that's what you want." "It is." "Then thank you." Thank you." We talked for a while longer. I told him about the documents Marcus had prepared, where everything was stored, what to do when the time came. "That's not going to be for a long time," Thomas said. "You're too stubborn to die." "Damn right," I said. When I hung up, I felt better. Not good, but better. My phone rang again. Eric. I let it go to voicemail. 10 minutes later, another call. I looked at the screen. "Lauren." I answered. "Harold, thank God. We've been trying to reach you all day. I've been busy. Look, about last night, Eric feels terrible. We both do. We were out of line." "Okay. Okay? That's it? What do you want me to say, Lauren?" She paused. "We want to apologize, and we were hoping we could all sit down and talk about the house situation." The house situation again. "There's nothing to talk about," I said. "Harold, we're family. Family talks things through." "Family." I let the word hang there. "You know what, Lauren? You're right. Family does talk things through. Family also doesn't treat each other like ATMs. Family doesn't say, 'You've never done anything for us,' after getting $100,000 in 4 years. Silence on the other end. "I've been going through my bank records," I said, "adding things up. Do you know how much money I've given Eric since you two got married?" "Harold, $106,350. That's the number. Not counting birthday gifts, not counting Christmas, not counting the time I spent helping with your house, the deck I built, the fence, the weekends I drove over to babysit your dog so you could go on vacation. We never asked you to—" "You did ask, every time, and I said yes, every time. Because that's what family does. Family helps each other." My voice was rising now. I couldn't help it. "But apparently I've never done anything for you. Apparently $106,350 is nothing. Apparently working 2 jobs to raise my sons after their mother died is the bare minimum." "We didn't mean it like that." "How did you mean it then? Explain it to me, Lauren." "Because I'm 72 years old, and apparently I don't understand how family works." She didn't answer. "That's what I thought," I said. "Tell Eric not to call me again. Not unless he's calling to apologize, really apologize. Not this 'we overreacted' bullshit. I want to hear him say he was wrong. that what he said was cruel and untrue. Until then, I don't want to hear from him. I hung up. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from rage. The phone rang again immediately. Eric this time. I declined the call. He called back. I declined again. Text from Eric. Dad, we need to talk about this like adults. I typed back, adults don't ask their 72-year-old father for $40,000 after taking $106,000. Adults don't tell their father he's never done anything for them. Don't contact me again until you're ready to apologize. I hit send. Then I blocked both their numbers. The house felt very quiet. I made dinner, chicken and rice, ate at the kitchen table, washed the dishes, sat on the back porch until it got dark. This was my life now. No more calls from Eric asking for money. No more pretending everything was fine. No more being treated like a resource instead of a father. The silence should have felt lonely. Instead, it felt like relief. 3 days went by. No contact from Eric. No contact from Lauren. I assumed they'd respected my boundary. I was wrong. On the 4th day, a car pulled into my driveway. I was in the garage, organizing tools. Heard the engine cut off. Footsteps. Eric appeared in the garage doorway. Alone. No Lauren. He looked like he hadn't slept well. Good. Dad. I kept sorting tools. Didn't look at him. Dad, come on. We need to talk about this. I have nothing to say to you. Fine. Then listen. He came into the garage. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry for what I said at dinner. It was stupid. I was stressed about the baby and the money, and I took it out on you. I shouldn't have said that. I set down the wrench I was holding, turned to face him. You done? Yeah, I'm done. I apologized. Can we move past this now? No. He blinked. What? I said no. Your apology is bullshit, Eric. You're not sorry for what you said. You're sorry I cut you off. There's a difference. That's not fair. You know what's not fair? Working 2 jobs for 6 years to raise you, paying for your school, your wedding, your house, giving you $100,000 over 4 years, and hearing you say I've never done anything for you. That's not fair. I didn't mean... Yes, you did. You meant it. You and Lauren sat there and meant every word. I was in the way. I wasn't giving you what you wanted fast enough. So you tried to guilt me into it. Eric's face flushed. We were asking for help. That's what families do. You weren't asking. You were demanding. And when I said no, you attacked me. Called me selfish. Said I never did anything for you. I was angry. I don't care. I was shouting now. Couldn't help it. You don't get to be angry with me, Eric. You don't get to act like I owe you something. I gave you everything I had. Everything. Your mother died, and I worked myself half to death to make sure you and your brother had a life, had a chance, and you pissed it away. You took, and never once said thank you. Never once asked if I was okay, if I needed anything. You only called when you wanted something. That's not true. When's the last time you called me just to talk? I said. Not to ask for money. Not to ask for help, just to see how I was doing. He opened his mouth, closed it, couldn't answer. "That's what I thought," I said. "Get out." "Dad, get out of my house, now." "You're being ridiculous." "I apologize. What more do you want?" "I want you to leave. And don't come back until you understand what you did wrong. Really understand it. Not just I was stressed, not just I was angry. I want you to understand that you broke something between us. And I don't know if it can be fixed." Eric stared at me. Then he shook his head. "You're unbelievable. You know that? We ask you for one thing. Get out." He turned and walked back to his car, slammed the door, reversed out of the driveway too fast. Tires squealed. I stood there in the garage, heart pounding, hands shaking again. I walked back into the house, sat down at the kitchen table, put my head in my hands. This wasn't how I thought my life would go. 72 years old, alone in a house too big for one person, both my sons alive, but only one speaking to me. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Must have gotten through before I updated my block list. It was Lauren, from a different phone. "You're a bitter old man. Eric tried to apologize and you threw it in his face. Don't expect to meet your grandchild. We're done with you." I read it 3 times. Then I took a screenshot, saved it to a folder on my phone labeled Evidence. Marcus had told me to document everything, just in case. I texted back from my number, knowing she'd see it before her message was blocked. "I have bank records showing $106,350 in transfers to Eric. I have text messages. I have voicemails. If you try to claim I'm an unfit grandparent, I'll show them to a judge. Don't threaten me, Lauren." I blocked the new number. A week passed. Then 2 weeks. No contact from Eric or Lauren. I assumed that was the end of it. Then the Facebook post happened. I'm not on Facebook, never saw the point. But my neighbor Carol knocked on my door one morning holding her phone. "Harold, I think you should see this," she showed me. Eric had written a long post, public. Everyone could see it. It's with a heavy heart that I share this. My father and I have had a falling out. After years of helping him, supporting him, being there for him, he's decided to cut me out of his life. Why? Because I asked him for help with a down payment on a house for my growing family. He refused and told me I've never done anything for him. When I tried to apologize, he threw me out of his house. I'm heartbroken. My wife is heartbroken, and our unborn child will never know their grandfather. If anyone has advice on how to deal with elderly parents who become bitter and irrational, please reach out. I don't know what else to do. 247 likes. 89 comments. Most of them sympathetic to Eric. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Old people get like that sometimes. My dad did the same thing. You're better off without that negativity in your life. A few people pushed back, asked for his side of the story. Eric responded to those with more details, carefully edited details, made it sound like I'd refused to help and then cut him off for no reason. No mention of the $106,150. No mention of "you've never done anything for us." Just a sad son being rejected by his irrational father. I handed the phone back to Carol. "Thank you for showing me." "Harold, I don't believe a word of it." I've known you 20 years. You're not bitter or irrational. I appreciate that. Are you going to respond? No. Why not? Because responding means engaging, and I'm done engaging with Eric. He wants to tell lies on Facebook. Let him. People who know me know the truth. People who don't know me don't matter. But it bothered me, more than I wanted to admit. People were seeing that post. Friends, neighbors, former co-workers. They were reading Eric's version of events and believing it, thinking I was some bitter old man who'd abandoned his son for no reason. I called Marcus. "Is this something I should worry about?" I asked. "Legally? Is he claiming you're mentally incompetent?" "Not directly, but he's implying it, says I'm irrational." "Harold, I'm going to give you some advice as your attorney and as your friend. Get a cognitive evaluation. Go to your doctor and ask for a full mental competency screening. If it comes back clean, and it will, that's documentation proving you're of sound mind. If Eric tries to challenge the will or claim you're not competent to make decisions, you'll have medical proof that you are." "That's a good idea. I know. That's why you pay me." I called my doctor that afternoon, got an appointment for the next week, went in and explained the situation. She was sympathetic. "I'll run the full screening," she said. "But Harold, I've been your doctor for 15 years. I can tell you right now you're going to pass. You're sharper than half my patients, half your age." She was right. I took the tests: cognitive function, memory recall, problem solving, passed all of them, perfect scores. She wrote a letter documenting the results. Patient Harold Mitchell, age 72, demonstrates full cognitive capacity and decision-making ability. No signs of dementia, diminished capacity, or impaired judgment. I gave a copy to Marcus, kept one for myself, put one in the safe deposit box. "You're building a hell of a case," Marcus said. "If Eric tries anything, he's going to lose badly." "Good," I said. But I didn't feel good. I felt tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of defending myself. Tired of being treated like the villain for setting boundaries. Another week passed. I spent most of it alone. Did yard work, fixed things around the house, kept busy. Then Thomas called. "Dad, I saw Eric's Facebook post." "Yeah. I commented on it. You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did. I'm not going to let him lie about you." He paused. "For what it's worth, a lot of people sided with you in the comments, once I explained what really happened." "What did you say?" "The truth. That Eric's taken over $100,000 from you in 4 years. That he told you to your face you'd never done anything for him. That he only calls when he wants money. People didn't like that. They turned on him pretty fast. I didn't know how to feel about that. Glad Thomas defended me. Embarrassed that my family drama was playing out online for strangers to see. Thanks, Tommy. I also told him if he keeps this up, I'm cutting him off too. I'm not watching him trash you publicly while you stay quiet. It's not right. You don't have to. Yeah, I do. He's my brother, but you're my father. And you've been nothing but good to both of us. He doesn't get to rewrite history because he's mad you set a boundary." We talked for a while longer. Thomas told me his daughters wanted to come visit this summer, spend a week with Grandpa. I told him I'd love that. Meant it. When we hung up, I felt a little better. Not great, but better. That night, I sat on the back porch, cool air, stars out, quiet. I thought about Margaret. What she'd say if she were here. She'd always been better with the boys than I was. More patient, better at explaining things. But she wasn't here. And I had to figure this out on my own. The next morning, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Oregon area code, not Thomas's number. I answered. "Hello? Mr. Mitchell? This is Sandra Brennan. I'm a social worker with Adult Protective Services in your county." My stomach dropped. "We received a report of concern regarding your welfare," she continued. "The report alleges possible self-neglect and diminished mental capacity. I'm calling to schedule a home visit to assess the situation." "Who filed the report?" "I can't disclose that information, but I can tell you we take all reports seriously. Would you be available for a home visit tomorrow at 2:00 p.m.? Eric? It had to be Eric. "Yes," I said. "I'll be here." "Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. I'll see you tomorrow." I hung up, sat there staring at my phone. He'd called APS on me. My own son had reported me as a danger to myself. I called Marcus immediately. "He's trying to have me declared incompetent," I said. "He called Adult Protective Services." "Okay. Don't panic. You have the cognitive evaluation. You have documentation. Your house is clean, right?" "Of course it is." "Then you're fine. Let them come. Let them look around. Answer their questions honestly. Show them the evaluation from your doctor. They'll close the case immediately." "What if they don't?" "Harold, I've seen APS cases. They're looking for real problems. Elderly people living in filth, not eating, not taking medication. That's not you. You're healthy, your house is maintained, you're mentally sharp. They'll see that. Eric's wasting their time and his own." Marcus was right, but it still felt like a violation, having strangers come into my home because my son had lied about me. The next day, at 2:00 p.m. exactly, Sandra Brennan knocked on my door. She was maybe 40, professional, carried a tablet and a folder. "Mr. Mitchell?" "That's me." "Thank you for meeting with me. May I come in?" "Of course." I let her in. She looked around. The living room was clean. Kitchen was clean. No dirty dishes, no trash, no smell, nothing concerning. "Can I get you some water? Coffee?" I asked. "Water would be great, thank you." I brought her a glass. We sat at the kitchen table. "Mr. Mitchell, I'm here because we received a report alleging you may be experiencing diminished mental capacity and possible self-neglect. I'm going to ask you some questions and take a look around your home, if that's all right." "That's fine, but before we start, I want you to see something." I pulled out the letter from my doctor. The cognitive evaluation. Handed it to her. She read it. Her eyebrows went up. "This is from last week." "Yes." "I had it done after my son started implying I was mentally incompetent. I wanted documentation proving otherwise." She looked at me, then back at the letter. "This says you scored perfectly on all cognitive assessments." "That's correct." "And you had this done because my son is angry I won't give him $40,000. So he's trying to have me declared incompetent. That way he can take control of my finances. Or at least that's what I assume he's planning." Sandra set down the letter. "Mr. Mitchell, can you walk me through what's been happening?" I told her everything. The dinner, the things Eric said, the money I'd given him over the years, the Facebook post, the APS call. She took notes, asked clarifying questions, asked to see my bank records. I showed her. $106,350, she said, reading my records. Over 4 years. Yes, ma'am. And he's claiming you never helped him? That's what he said. She shook her head. Mr. Mitchell, can I see the rest of your house? I walked her through every room. She looked in the fridge, saw it was stocked, looked at the bathroom, clean, looked at my bedroom, made bed, clothes put away. You live here alone? She asked. Yes. My wife passed away 8 years ago. And you maintain this house yourself? I do most of it. I hire someone for the big jobs, roof repairs, things like that. But the day-to-day maintenance, that's me. We went back to the kitchen. She made more notes on her tablet. Mr. Mitchell, I'm going to close this case. There's no evidence of self-neglect or diminished capacity. Your home is well maintained, you're clearly competent, and you have recent medical documentation supporting that. Whoever filed this report either has incorrect information or is acting in bad faith. It was my son, I said. Eric Mitchell. He filed it. I can't confirm or deny that. You don't have to. I know it was him. She looked at me. Off the record? I believe you, and I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Family disputes are hard, but you're doing fine, better than fine. You don't need APS intervention. Thank you. One more thing. She pulled out a business card. If this escalates, if your son continues to make false reports or tries to interfere with your autonomy, call this number. It's the elder abuse hotline. What he's doing, making false reports, attempting to control your finances, that can qualify as elder abuse. I took the card, stared at it. Elder abuse. My son was abusing me. After she left, I sat at the kitchen table for a long time. Just sat there, didn't move. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I called Thomas. Eric called Adult Protective Services on me, I said. He what? Reported me for diminished capacity and self-neglect. They sent a social worker to my house today. Are you fucking kidding me? Thomas rarely swore. What happened? I showed her the cognitive evaluation from Dr. Morrison. She looked around the house, closed the case immediately. Good. Jesus Christ, Dad. Eric's lost his mind. The social worker gave me a card for the elder abuse hotline. Said if it continues, it qualifies as abuse. Silence on the other end. Then, are you going to report him? I don't know. Maybe. If he doesn't stop. He's not going to stop, Thomas said. You know that, right? He's going to keep pushing until he gets what he wants, or until you make him stop. I know. Then make him stop. Report him. Get a restraining order. Do whatever you have to do. You don't deserve this. We talked for another hour. By the end, I'd made up my mind. The next morning, I called the elder abuse hotline, filed a report, documented everything, the APS call, the Facebook post, the threats from Lauren about keeping the grandchild from me, the pattern of financial demands followed by retaliation when I said no. The woman on the phone was sympathetic but professional. We'll open a case file. An investigator will contact you within 48 hours. In the meantime, document everything. Every call, text, email. If he shows up at your house unannounced, document that too. I will. Mr. Mitchell, I want you to know what you're describing is a recognized pattern. financial exploitation combined with emotional manipulation. You're not alone in this, and you're doing the right thing by reporting it." After I hung up, I felt strange, like I'd crossed some line I couldn't uncross. I'd officially reported my son for elder abuse. But Thomas was right. Eric wasn't going to stop. And I was too old and too tired to keep fighting without help. 2 days later, an investigator called. Woman named Patricia Gordon. She wanted to meet in person, go over everything. We met at a coffee shop. Neutral territory. She was maybe 50. Gray hair. Kind eyes, but all business. I showed her everything. Bank records, text messages, screenshots of the Facebook post, the APS report, the letter from my doctor, the letter from my attorney about the will change. She reviewed it all, made notes, asked questions. "Mr. Mitchell, has your son ever threatened you physically?" "No." "Has he tried to access your bank accounts without permission?" "No. I changed my passwords after the dinner, just in case." "Smart." "Has he tried to isolate you from friends or family?" I thought about that. "Not directly, but the Facebook post. It feels like he's trying to turn people against me." "That's social isolation. It counts." She made more notes. "Based on what you've shown me, I believe there's sufficient evidence of financial exploitation and emotional abuse. I'm going to recommend a protective order." "A restraining order?" "Not exactly. A protective order specific to elder abuse. It would prohibit your son from contacting you, demanding money, making false reports about you, or posting about you publicly. If he violates it, he can be arrested." The weight of that settled on me. A legal order keeping my son away from me. "I know this is hard," Patricia said. "But Mr. Mitchell, from what I can see, you've tried to set boundaries. You've tried to communicate. He's responded by escalating. The APS call was a serious step. The next step could be worse." "What could be worse?" "He could try to have you declared incompetent through the courts, file for guardianship. If he succeeded, he'd have control of your finances, your house, your medical decisions. Everything." Ice in my chest again. He could do that? He could try. Would he succeed? Not with your documentation. But it would be expensive and stressful to fight. The protective order prevents him from trying. "Okay," I said. "Do it. I'll file the paperwork today. You'll have a hearing in about 2 weeks. You'll need to testify. Your son will be there. He'll have a chance to defend himself." "I understand." "Bring your attorney," she said, "and bring all your documentation. The judge will want to see it." I left the coffee shop feeling like I'd just declared war on my own son. Maybe I had. The hearing was set for November 14th, 2 weeks away. I told Marcus. He cleared his schedule. I didn't tell Eric. Let him be surprised. 10 days before the hearing, Eric showed up at my house. I was in the front yard raking leaves. Looked up, and there he was, getting out of his car. "Dad, we need to talk." "No, we don't." "Yes, we do. This has gone far enough." I kept raking. "You need to leave." "I'm not leaving until we settle this. You're being unreasonable." "I'm being unreasonable?" I stopped raking. Looked at him. "You called Adult Protective Services on me. Filed a false report. You're damn right this has gone far enough." His face went pale. "How do you—" "The social worker told me." "Well, She couldn't officially tell me, but it wasn't hard to figure out. You're the only one who's been claiming I'm mentally incompetent. Dad, I was worried about you. Bullshit. You were trying to get control of my money. Don't lie to me, Eric. I'm not stupid. I wasn't trying to control your money. I was trying to help you. By having me declared incompetent? By having strangers come into my home to assess whether I can take care of myself? You're not thinking clearly. You changed your will. You cut me out. That's not rational. It's completely rational. You've taken over $100,000 from me and told me I've never done anything for you. Why the hell would I leave you anything? Eric's jaw tightened. You can't do that. I already did. The will's been changed, notarized, filed. It's done. I'll contest it. Go ahead. I have documentation, bank records, text messages, medical evaluations proving I'm mentally competent. You'll lose. He stared at me. I could see him thinking, calculating. Dad, let's not do this. Let's fix this. I'll apologize, really apologize. We'll start over. It's too late for that. It's not too late. We're family. No, I said. Family doesn't treat each other the way you've treated me. Family doesn't call APS when they don't get what they want. Family doesn't threaten to keep grandchildren away as punishment. You're not my family anymore, Eric. You're just someone I used to know. His face went red. You're going to regret this. Is that a threat? It's a fact. You think you can cut me out? I'm your son. I have rights. You have the right to leave my property. That's it. Now get out before I call the police. He took a step toward me. I didn't back up. Go ahead, I said. Take one more step. I'm documenting all of this. Charges against you will be even easier to prove with an assault charge on top of everything else. That stopped him. He stood there, fists clenched, face red, breathing hard. Then he turned and walked back to his car, slammed the door, peeled out of the driveway. I stood there holding the rake, heart pounding, hands shaking. But I'd held my ground. I called Patricia Gordon immediately, told her what happened. Did he threaten you? She asked. He said I'd regret this, took a step toward me. I told him I was documenting everything and he backed off. That's good. That's really good, actually. It shows pattern of intimidation. I'll add it to the report. The judge will want to know about this. The day of the hearing arrived, November 14th. Cold morning, gray sky. I wore my good suit, the one I'd worn to Margaret's funeral. Marcus met me at the courthouse. You ready? He asked. No, I said, but let's do it anyway. We went inside. Courtroom was small, just a few rows of benches. Eric was already there, with Lauren, and a lawyer I didn't recognize. Eric saw me. His face was neutral, blank, like he'd practiced it. The judge came in. Woman, maybe 60. Judge Patricia Reynolds, according to the nameplate. This is a hearing regarding a petition for a protective order under the Elder Abuse Protection Act, she said. Mr. Harold Mitchell petitioning against Mr. Eric Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, you may present your case. Marcus stood. Your Honor, we have extensive documentation of financial exploitation and emotional abuse spanning 4 years. He laid it out. Every transfer, every text message, The Facebook post, the APS report, Eric's showing up at my house 10 days ago, the doctor's letter, everything. The judge reviewed the documents, took her time, asked questions. Then she looked at Eric. "Mr. Mitchell, would you like to respond?" Eric's lawyer stood. "Your Honor, my client has been attempting to maintain a relationship with his father. The financial transfers Mr. Mitchell references were gifts, not exploitation. There was no coercion." "Gifts," the judge said. "Mr. Mitchell, do you have evidence these were requested?" Marcus handed her a stack of text messages. "Multiple requests, Your Honor. Pattern of asking for money followed by guilt or threats when refused." The judge read through them. Her expression didn't change, but I saw her jaw tighten. "Mr. Eric Mitchell," she said, "did you file a report with Adult Protective Services claiming your father was mentally incompetent?" Eric's lawyer whispered something to him. Eric nodded. "Yes, Your Honor. I was concerned about his mental state. Concerned enough to file a false report, but not concerned enough to visit him before making that report?" "I had visited him, Your Honor, multiple times." "According to the documentation here, you visited twice in the last year, both times for under 2 hours, both times requesting money." She set down the papers. "Mr. Mitchell, I'm going to ask you directly. Do you believe your father is mentally incompetent?" Eric hesitated. I think he's not thinking clearly." "That's not what I asked. Do you believe he is mentally incompetent, yes or no?" "I think he needs help. Yes or no, Mr. Mitchell?" Silence. Then, "No, I don't think he's incompetent." "So you filed a false report with Adult Protective Services. I was concerned. You filed a false report. Yes or no?" Eric's lawyer touched his arm. Eric nodded. "Yes." Judge Reynolds looked at me. "Mr. Harold Mitchell, is there anything you'd like to say?" Marcus looked at me, nodded. I stood up. My legs felt shaky, but I stayed upright. "Your Honor, Eric is my son. I raised him after his mother died. I worked 2 jobs to put him through school. I gave him over $100,000 in 4 years because he said he needed it. And when I finally said no, when I finally set a boundary, he told me I'd never done anything for him. Then he tried to have me declared incompetent so he could take control of my money." My voice cracked. I cleared my throat. "I don't want revenge. I don't want to punish him. I just want him to leave me alone, that's all. I want peace." I sat down. The courtroom was quiet. Judge Reynolds made notes. Then she looked up. "I'm granting the protective order. Mr. Eric Mitchell, you are prohibited from contacting your father directly or indirectly. You may not call, text, email, or visit him. You may not post about him on social media. You may not file reports about him with any agency without credible evidence. You may not demand money or access to his finances. This order is effective for 5 years. If you violate it, you will be arrested. Do you understand?" Eric's face was white. "Yes, Your Honor." "Mr. Harold Mitchell, if he contacts you, call the police immediately. Don't engage. Just report it. Understood?" "Yes, Your Honor." "We're adjourned." The gavel came down. It was over. Eric and Lauren left quickly. Didn't look at me. His lawyer looked apologetic, like he knew Eric had lied to him. Marcus shook my hand. "You did it." "Yeah," I said. "I did." We walked out of the courthouse together. Cold air hit my face. Felt good. "What happens now?" I asked. "Now you go home. Live your life. Eric can't touch you. Legally, financially, emotionally. He's out." I drove home. The house was still standing, still empty, still quiet. But it felt different now. Not lonely, just peaceful. I made coffee, sat at the kitchen table. The same table where this whole thing started. My phone rang. "Thomas." "Dad, how'd it go?" "I got the protective order." "Thank God. How do you feel?" "Tired," I said. "But okay. I feel okay." "Good. Listen, the girls and I are coming for Christmas. 2 weeks. If that's all right." "More than all right," I said. "I'd love that." "Great. Sarah's already planning the menu. She wants to cook a real Christmas dinner, the whole thing." We talked for a while, made plans, talked about normal things, family things. When I hung up, I looked around the kitchen. The house I'd lived in for 46 years. The house Margaret and I bought. The house where I raised my sons. It was still mine, still standing, still home. Eric was gone, out of my life, out of my will, out of my house. It hurt. Not going to lie. Part of me still wanted him to call, to really apologize, to understand what he'd done wrong, but I wasn't holding my breath. Some people never understand, never see past their own wants and needs, and that was okay. I'd done what I could, raised him right, given him opportunities, loved him. What he did with that was his choice, not my responsibility anymore. I finished my coffee, rinsed the cup, set it in the sink. Then I went outside, stood on the back porch, cold air, clear sky, stars starting to come out. Somewhere out there, Eric was probably telling Lauren how unfair the judge had been, how his father had turned against him. Let him tell it. Didn't matter anymore. I was free. If you like this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for being with us.